All right, folks, what's going on? It's Eric here. We're going to go ahead and get into this trade recap here from Friday, September 17th, 2021. What a day, what a day. So, those of you that are, in the group chat and everything like that, know that we had a great day today. For me, basically three trades, two of them of the same stock, HLBZ and IPHA. All right. Now, these are pretty two easy trades. Guys, I don't know how this could be made any more easier. Shout out to the admin for trying to warn everyone that this thing was going to run, and myself as well too. But you know, it is what it is. So let's take a look at these trades and these alerts and see how this pretty much played out here. Okay, because overall was a is a great day. Um, Almost what well over 10K, pretty easy. So let's just kind of take a look at how this pretty much played out. Okay. So this was on the watch list, ABCL, CRV, and a few others on the back burner. Not too much happening there. It's Friday, not anticipating too much to happen, but man, was I wrong. Um, you know, so pretty much, let's take a look here. IHPA. This thing was the first alert that morning, pre-market. Let's pull that up. IPHA. So the little alert comes through. Take a look at the catalyst. It seems, you know, pretty decent. Um, they pretty much, got a price target raise. Now, usually what price target raises, those are, I say take that with a grain of salt. But however, kind of keep in mind how it might look to the public about a company, getting their price target raise means that they're doing pretty well. Because people, like analyst opinions on stock. So automatically, I'm going to look at that and see if that does anything to, contain some type of strength. And what I mean by that is, I'm going to look for pullback after it's alerted. I'm going to look for some pullback to hold some solid weight as far as on the lower end of like the relative strength index or the lower end of the MACD. See if it's making a new high or low. Okay, because I'm going to use that as level of support. Now, obviously, this was during pre-market. It didn't do, nothing, but I kept my eye on it. I mean, it did do something, but not nothing enough for me to want to get into it. So here's, pre-market starting. It's alerted. It rises up, then it rises up again. I still just, I wasn't impressed. It's Friday, doing that kind of move. I felt like I could easily get faked out, which is okay because look, it started to downtrend a little bit, downtrend, downtrend. So when it's doing that, you know, I'm not going to be paying attention to it because I'm going to think it's going to die out. However, it didn't die out too much. It was just beneath the volume weighted average price, enough for it to be so bearish that I didn't really pay attention to it no more until it was alerted again. So, anyways, I still had it pulled up, pre-market wise, because this Friday didn't have much movement pre-market until HLBZ, and then that kind of took the thunder, but still gave you opportunity. Oops, sorry, still gave you opportunity to make money there. So let me pull up the alerts again. We'll take a look here. So after IHPA went off, then you had CRVS. That one was a good play too, guys. Didn't that one didn't really kick off until afterwards, but still. So yeah, IHPA was being alerted. It's making moves. Good. Me personally, like I said, I wasn't in it. If you were in it and got in it, great. Other alerts were going off, things that I wasn't impressed with because none of them were fitting my setup. Even IHPA didn't fit my setup at that time. Then HLBZ went off. They announced a partnership with Fox. Okay, so let's pull that one up too, and we'll come back to IHPA because I'm trying to do this in chronological order where you guys can kind of understand how I'm jumping in between stocks. So HLBZ goes off, right? Man, this thing went berserk. Now I got in this thing pretty early, and I held it for a while. I was a little bit hesitant to hold it between the bell, but I was just up so much. I was like, it's okay if there's some pullback. Plus, guys, think about this. When I say catalysts are good reasons to enter, a trade, especially for me, news like that is something you want to kind of consider. Now, the weight of the news sometimes, even to yourself, could be, biased. For example, let's say if you're like a doctor and, you know, some pharmaceutical company comes out with some great news, you probably as a doctor might think that's a great medical breakthrough, right? But the average person might not know that, you know? So kind of keep something like that in mind. Or like, let's say, for example, if you're like a mechanic and, let's say Lucid Motors came out with this new revolutionary engine that, is going to change the world. Okay, the average person might not understand that, but you as a mechanic might think this is amazing. You got to keep that with a grain of salt. Just because you think it's great doesn't mean that, everyone else might either think or know that. Okay, so that's just something to kind of consider too. But with something like news like this, with Fox, or let's say if it's something with like Apple or Microsoft, these are like household names that everyone knows. So that can definitely be a very heavily weighted catalyst to be a reason to enter in a trade. Well, just one reason. I mean, obviously you want to wait for your setups. You want to wait till a chart is there that you probably like trading. You want whatever your reasons are to enter your trade, and I go over those catalysts that are there. But I'm not going to go into like detail with them right now. But that's just understand the fact that the reasons why you're entering a trade, you know, are important, and some reasons are more obvious than others. So something like this, announcing a partnership with Fox Networks, is is very important. More so, here, let me make this a little bit bigger. More so the fact that, guys, the admins told, they mentioned it. That it's already ran before. Um, you know, right here, it ran at $25. The reason why this is called, you know, the reason why you hear the name pattern day trading, guys, because stocks will a lot of times repeat what they've done before, especially when they like run up. And again, you don't want to fall in love with these stocks, but when they run up, they run up, and this is one of them. Um, the admins mentioned it, as well too. The partnership was confirmed for the next 3 seasons. It's confirmed for the next 3 seasons. This thing just kept running, kept running, kept running, kept running, kept running, kept running. I got in at $13. you know, Especially after admin says, I hope you banked this thing ran to $25 before. Hmm. So one thing that has the ability to get that high, right? Now you also know another thing too, that there's still buyers who bought in at that price that will also be looking to sell as well too. So that's another reason why you want to be watching the price action around that point. And you guys seen the chat later on, I had talked about, I said, I want to see if it breaks 25 because it's possible it can do it. With news like that, that's a really good strong catalyst. Not only that, other traders are going to have their eyes on it as well too. So keep that in mind. But anyways, pretty much like after this alert here, and the admins mentioned all this, and I mean, I did my own due diligence and looked and see, how far back it went. Let me see if I can pull it up on here. If not, it's fine. Yeah, this is what they're talking about back in August, guys. Look, right here, this thing went berserk. And it's probably going to do the same thing, pull right back down. I mean, I don't know. That partnership is kind of a really, really strong catalyst. Here we are today, and it did the same thing. Pattern day trading, guys. Okay. So, anyways, let's get back into it. Got in this bad boy at like 13.05, right after the $13 mark broke in pre-market. And I said to myself, if this is real strong news, or if it's really, fake news, what'll happen is it'll break, it'll rise up and it'll come back down. Oh, it's on 1 minute. Okay. And I'm gonna use my ride the wave strategy here. If it breaks VWAP into bearish territory, I'll get out. I'm okay with that risk. I'm okay with that reward. Got into 13 and this thing just stayed up. I don't know what else to tell you guys before that. I didn't get out of this thing till like 20 something dollars, I believe. Um, and then got back in. because it kept showing strength even throughout the day. It grinded right here, then it broke out again. Higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. Let me make this smaller because this is how much this thing ran. This thing was berserk. Okay. Um, so as I'm in this trade too, I was also in IHPA because at the bell, and you guys know I don't like to, you know, do both trades at the same time. Um, Pretty much after the bell, IHPA took off. Let's pull it back up here. I hate that trading view defaults to like the way that this looks now. It's very annoying. Very, very annoying. All right, so pretty much IHPA. This one was a much quicker one, and I just kind of when HLBZ went off, I kind of just loaded the boat on that one and let that thing ride, just because of that catalyst already. But IHPA, I just kind of got in and got out with that one. Got in at like 825 and got out at like 11. It was a pretty decent game. About what 30-something%. But yeah, so pretty much what happened was it broke the pre-market high. That's another key indicator for you guys right there too. When something breaks pre-market high, it's a good indicator that it can run. But obviously this thing, broke the high, and just kind of took off again. I got in at like 825 because that was a good enough level of support. Look at that. So this is the pre-market high, right? $8.06. It's alerted again. Alerted again. While this one was halted, I jumped into this one because this halt HLBZ halt was kind of long. So I jumped into IHPA. In the meantime, while IHPA is running and I'm making money there, HLBZ is halted. So I let this thing go, let this thing go, let this thing go. By the time it hit $11, I said, "Oop, that's enough." So I got out just shy above 11, and which is perfect because it came right back down. I knew that it had to come down. You can only rise with so much. This one I didn't do my ride the wave strategy. Okay. Um, I didn't do my VWAP strategy. I just did my ride the wave strategy because I knew where I got in at was perfect for me to do that. I didn't wait for no pullback. So when I say that, when you enter in before another pullback like this, you just want to kind of get in and get out. That's just me personally, because I'm not gonna have. I don't know what the support level is gonna be after this new run up. You know, I didn't wait for that. I quickly got in and I needed to quickly get out. It's a little bit more riskier than riding the wave because you have no support. Think about this, guys. So let me try to run this one back here so you can kind of understand what I mean by this. Let me do the replay. Let's do it from right here because I don't want to take up too much of your time. So you're alerted in pre-market to kind of keep this on your radar. So, there's no setup here for me, right? Let me zoom in. Even if I'm zoomed in, because by this time, you could essentially play this if you wanted to, but don't have to. So, anyways, press play. Kind of speed it up here. I gotta get ready to catch this flight. Let me hear ever make this video. All right, so let me speed this up here. Boom, the bell opens, right? You're alerted. Okay, so now that I'm alerted, I'm gonna jump in. Now I know that when I got in just now, that this trade has not pulled back yet at this time. Sorry, this is going a little too fast. I know by the time I entered in here that this thing has not pulled back yet. So I know that I have to either get in and take my money or risk myself taking a loss if this thing just pulls back. Because this could be a false breakout because this is the beginning of the day. The belt just opened. And I'm not going to risk that. I just want to get in, see if I can get a little bit of money and get out. It's kind of like a scalp, basically. But I got in, got filled, and it went up, a couple dollars, and I said, okay, now it's time to get out because it's about to pull back, and I don't know how far it's going to pull back, so go ahead and get out. So this is why it's key to know your entries and exits based on your strategy. And like I tell you guys, I have 3 different strategies that I mainly play. This was one of them. Um, the quick ride the wave strategy. Whereas with HLBZ, I was doing the VWAP strategy. I don't go into details, on it, but you should know it. If you do know it from the course stuff like that, then you know how that works. So pretty much that's how that played out. So that's IHPA, and obviously the way it played out the rest of the day was perfect that I did that strategy because look, it flattened out right back to kind of almost where it was at. Not too much. I mean, it still held some strength, but not too much. So that's that. And then let's go back in here. So I got in and I got in and out of this quickly. My HLBZ unhalted itself and kept running. This thing was halted like right after the open, right? Yeah, like 6:31. So like right after the bell opened, this thing was halted and it stayed here. It stayed here. Let me zoom in. Then it came in, broke down. So, I'm not getting out right here because I'm still like $2 above my entry point from $13 at pre-market. And the volume weighted average price is still trending up. So there's no reason to get in. Now, some of you might want to trade off the EMA or however you want to do it. But for me personally, my strategy, there was no reason for me to get out. So what I tell you guys all the time, let your winners win. Okay. So for me here, my entry point being $13, I wanted to exit around 16. That was just like my risk to reward management, you know, in mind. So the thing is that we hit 16 pretty fast. And I figured since, we did, there was no point of me, you know, not letting it ride out because that was great news. Great, great news. Um, and then, eventually I had got out around like the 20s and then I jumped back in for a little bit um, to get a little bit more money. Just because I was like, man, this thing is still holding strength. And pretty much got out like, when did I get out? I got out like a little bit before it hit 25, didn't I? Oh, sorry. Why does this do that? It's so annoying. So let me pull it up here because this thing ran all the way pretty much right at 25. And I told you guys in the chat room too. I think I said, let me pull it up here. We were all talking about it, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get out when it hits 25. Somewhere I said that. Yeah, I want to actually see if it gets at 25, honestly. But yeah, eventually I started like getting FOMO and so I jumped back in for some extra money. But yeah, and it just kept rising from there. So, but again, guys, trades like this can be risky if you don't have a plan, but they can be great if you do. So you better make one. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to kind of recap that so you guys can kind of get an understanding of why I got into that one, mainly because that catalyst was really, really good. Um, and then after the catalyst was really good and it showed every setup that I can think of that I trade, it was no point of not it was no reason not to get in. And if the admins are telling you this thing has ran before, why not with a reasonable caution get into this trade? I mean, yeah, there was other things to get in, like for example, CRBS. This thing did better than HLBZ. And if you got in this thing pre-market and you're, man, congrats to you. I completely, I didn't miss it. I don't know why it was Friday. I didn't want to get too greedy because HLBZ was so great. I think I was afraid of losing profits, honestly. And it happens to me. It happens to the best of us. Even after years of doing this, guys, you can still have the same emotions and things like that when it comes to this trading stuff, but you just want to be able to check them. And I'm okay with missing this trade. This thing did way better than HLBZ, but no one talked about it. It was like a slow killer. Like it kept going higher and higher and higher and higher, higher, higher. Then after hours, it just took off. So, man. Anyways, I'm definitely gonna be watching this one come Monday. You'll guys see on the watch list. You know what'll be there, but Anyways, guys, that's the recap of this trade. Hopefully, this kind of helps give you an idea of understanding how, how to kind of correctly identify certain catalysts when they are, mentioning household names like that, how important that is. And on top of that, obviously the admins are going to tell you guys all the time, hey, get in this trade because we don't do financial advice, but we're just kind of letting you know, here's a hint, you know, especially for you new guys. Um, or just, it's okay to sit there and watch, guys. There's going to be more runners like this. Don't think that it won't be. It will be. That's just, it's how stocks work. Okay. But yeah, have a plan. Have a plan. Practice, practice, practice. All right. You guys have a great weekend. I got to get ready to catch this flight, you know, traveling and trading. But we'll get back at it next week and keep it going. All right. Stay green.